Hey everybody, this is Billy at Bakersfield Tough. Of course, we're here. The man, Zach Skow, he's one of our editors in B Tough, and he handles all of our animal dog stuff. And we're here with Dr. Willis, and we got into someone new. We got Jackie in the house, right?
Hello there.
Yeah, Jackie heads off the spay and neuter program with Zach, right? Yeah. And we're going to get into it. This is a really cool section that we're going to do because we've touched on this a little bit, and we're going to talk about spay neutering, and we're going to talk about getting rid of the mentality that you are taking your dog's manhood away by spay or by neutering your dog, right? And that happens here in Bakersfield. And I don't think we have to tell everybody that there is a dog population explosion. I don't know what the right word is, but you're right, in Bakersfield, right? So Zach, let's talk about a little bit about this mentality that happens, because it does happen, right? I mean, this is not something we're inventing here.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of reasons why we have overpopulation problems. There are a lot of reasons why we have, culturally, why we have an aversion towards spay and neuter. One, people just don't know. It's just not something that's integrated into the culture, like it is for certain aspects of the culture. Where I grew up, spay and neutering is just normal. That's just, when you get to 6 months, you get to around that period, that's just the next indicated step. Out here, it's not the case. And it's not necessarily socioeconomic. It can be the same in Rosedale as it is in Arvin, where, for instance, the family just needs to have a litter of puppies, man. They just gotta, they gotta bow to their kids and have one litter of puppies. Or they'll come up with some bullshit statistic that, allowing your female to have one litter of puppies is healthy for it. So it needs to have, it's the healthy course of action for a female dog, which is ridiculous. Specifically in regards to neutering bully breed dogs or neutering male dogs in general, it's definitely an epidemic problem culturally. You can focus on the Hispanic community if you want to. There's nothing. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because it is a true part of the Hispanic culture. I mean, in sitting down with Hispanic leaders in Bakersfield, when we looked at the problem of pet overpopulation, we had to look at why it was happening. Every single one of them said, well, this is, the idea of the machismo and how it kind of runs our culture in regards to male dogs is a very real problem, and we need to very genuinely attack it from a variety of different ways. Some of them were flabbergasted, confused, frustrated as to how to fix it, because you can't explain it away. There's just one of those things that they're bitterly clinging to. And these, again, are Hispanic leaders. I'm not saying anything that's racist. I'm not saying anything that, and I'm trying to think of a generalization within the white community that would equal it. But we all have aspects of our culture and our community that we need to change, and we have to identify them honestly. And it's just the same problem in Oildale. Oildale is a predominantly white area. And you go to Oildale, you'll see intact pit bulls running all over the place. So it's not just socioeconomic, it's not just cultural, but it is something that is all over Bakersfield. And we need to make it no longer cool, no longer allowed, really. I mean, if we really want to take it, if we really want to make a difference and fix this problem, we need to litigate. I mean, we need to make it, the rule of law. We have to impose rules, sanctions, tickets. I mean, we can't have, considering the problem we have and the amount of money we spend on it, this can't continue to be a problem in our community.
Are you saying something like a mandated,
mandatory spay and neuter?
Okay, so, wow, really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I mean, when we euthanize 30,000, we kill 30,000 dogs a year. So Bakersfield City, this area, takes in 25,000 or so per year, and there are also 9 other shelters that add to these numbers. So we take in and euthanize, roughly 30,000 dogs. That's an astronaut. You know how much it costs just to euthanize that many dogs? You can have a welfare program that uplifts entire communities. And instead we're spending it on euthanizing dogs, and within that you have all kinds of other issues. You have a tax. You have yeah, I'm a little long-winded. Perhaps we should.
87% of all fatal dog attacks come from unaltered male dogs.
Wow,
that's fact.
Yeah, and now I want to talk to you, Dr. Willis, about that. So let's talk about the mentality that changes with the dog when you get it done. I mean, does it take some of the aggressiveness out of the dogs when you get them done?
The main alteration that happens when you remove the testicles from a male dog is the testosterone is removed from the system, and that does have capacity for aggressiveness. Now, what we see in practical terms is that dogs that are males that are neutered typically have longer lives, statistically longer lives than non-neutered males, and that's because of testosterone is a predominant factor in testicular cancer and prostatic problems that male dogs have as they age. But from the standpoint of just practical terms, when you remove the testicles from the dog, some of that aggression is reduced, and the roaming
For sure.
tendency for a male dog to want to roam to find a mate is drastically reduced. And typically they make very good pets. So we're, you know, from my standpoint, if you put in front of me, you know, if we neuter your animal, you can have a longer life, a less disease-free life. That's the way I would approach it.
Yeah, so if we look at the situation from, just like Dr. Willis said, a practical standpoint, so let's not even consider aggression, let's not even consider, let's just look at what neutering a dog does. What does that do for us? It ensures that the dog's not going to impregnate any other litters, you know, and create dozens, potentially hundreds, potentially thousands of other dogs, which then we have to deal with. But it also makes for a more easily trainable dog, a dog that's not going to be walking around peeing all over the house as much because he doesn't have testosterone. You remove that testosterone, you remove the dog's need mentally to procreate, which as dudes we can very much relate to. If you removed our testosterone, a great percentage of my preoccupations would leave my head, and I would have a whole bunch more of my brain to focus on other things, you know, like maybe more productive things, like paying attention to my owner, or, you know, so, you know, dogs are very, you know, male dogs are very similar to male men in certain ways, where you have that testosterone driving their subconscious and their conscious. It's gonna be more difficult to get through to them. They're not going to be as easily trainable, potentially. You're gonna have more issues within the home as far as just a petulant dog, yeah, peeing all over the place, and you just have, if you're looking at a dog as a product, you have a better product. You're not gonna have to bring your dog to the veterinarian as often because they have less complications when it comes to certain cancers and stuff that's gonna, you know, make that bill rack up as the life of your dog goes on.
Yep.
So it's just it's a practical decision. It makes sense.
And if your manhood is tied to your dog having testicles or not, then you need to reevaluate what you consider, you know, and evaluating yourself. It shouldn't matter if your dog has testicles or not. That doesn't make you a man. It doesn't make you a bigger, better person. You're a better person if your dog does not have testicles, because you're helping to stop the problem that we're all dealing with and tax dollars are feeding into every day.
Right. You know, one thing that I've seen around town, man, I don't want to say it makes me cringe, but I see it, is I'll see a van on a corner with a box of pit bulls.
It's illegal.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, it's like, this is like the reason why. I mean, and I wonder, but here, the thing is, how many of these people maybe are thinking that this is a financial deal? Like, you know what I mean? Oh, this, you know, I can sell those for $300 a pop. I don't know what a pit bull goes for, but
I don't think that, well, I mean, some people, yes, they do get into it for the money. But a lot of people that sell pit bulls out here sell them for $50, $20, sometimes $10. It's just that there's a litter of dogs, and now they have to get rid of them. They have to find somewhere for them to go, so they might as well make a couple dollars in the meantime, right?
Yeah.
But what they're not understanding is the cost of taking care of this litter, of taking care of the mom. If you're doing everything right, you're going to spend more on birthing and raising puppies for 8 weeks than you're going to make selling them.
yeah.
You know, and if your dog's not a papered pit bull, then there's no reason for you to be breeding. We need to allow responsible breeders who want to breed for temperament, who want to breed for health reasons, to take care of this. We don't need to continue this backyard breeding and selling puppies in front of Walmart, because it looks bad for everyone and it's bad for the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a more specific question that we can get into that line of questioning about, like that niche, like people?
Sounds like you have the segue into it.
They're different topics. So if you want to address,
but it all rolls together.
Sure, no, it definitely does.
Spay and neuter has to do with the amount of strays that come into shelters. It has to do with the amount of dogs that you see running the streets, the amount of dogs that get hit by cars, the
really,
amount of dogs that are sick.
It's tragic when you look at what we've created with the pit bull, specifically in Bakersfield.
And I hate, the thing is, I hate, because I know people are going to say, I know they're going to go and say, why are you guys picking on pit bulls again? You
But
guys
I
always.
love pit bulls.
No, that's what I'm saying. I know Zach does too. Zach's probably saved more pit bulls in Bakersfield than anybody in the history of Kern County.
That's why it's so maddening to have such a. Pit bulls don't breed themselves. They don't put themselves in a position to breed themselves. We are their We are their guardians. We are their past, future, and present. So everything, the legacy and the future of the pit bull, the past, all of it's been determined by us. So we've created this, potentially aggressive dog that has traits that are that require more training, that require more attention, and we've created this super animal that we with the specific intention of intimidating other people and other dogs. We've created this caricature, and specifically in Kern County and areas of Los Angeles County, all over the world, you have pockets of this culture that focus on that. It's an extension of themselves and how hardcore they want to present themselves. They're going to go ahead and do it in their vehicle. They're going to do it in their dog. They're going to do it in their whatever, how they carry themselves. And it's disgusting because I think about, Old Yeller, and I think about, dogs throughout history, and I even think about the pit bull. I mean, I had a pit bull when I was, or my neighbor had a pit bull when we were little, and it was the greatest dog in the world. And I don't ever remember it crossing my brain or my parents that this is a dangerous dog that the kids are going to go play with right now. It was just a dog,
right?
And now it's become its own beast, its own constantly morphing into something worse scenario because people refuse to deal with it and call it what it is. Unless we call this out, our culture's insistence on machoifying our dogs. And not doing anything about spaying or neutering them, then it's just going to continue to happen. And it's such a politically correct, game of bullshit to say, oh no, we're not allowed to say that. We can't say that this is a cultural problem or an ethnic problem. We have to be able to say what kind of problem it is across the board. We have to be able to say that if this is the case in the Latino community, if we value things like this, then we have to say it's not okay. If this is something that in Oildale is still predominantly viewed as okay, we have to say it's not okay. We can't pick and choose and tiptoe through the tulips about what we're allowed to say. Our information and our intelligence about this topic, which we really need to change, says so. So we need to do something about it.
You almost need the responsible pit bull owners to say it. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times, like I've seen it where they will say that you're picking on the whole community, pit bull community, when you're really not. I mean, you know what I mean?
Some of the pit bull kennels in town are our biggest supporters for spay and neuter because they understand the importance of spaying and neutering these pit bulls that are on the street because we know 51% of our shelters are full of them. We know how many dogs died last year and how many of them were pit bulls, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
We love this breed and we want to see it prosper. We want to see good dogs on the streets and we want to see responsible owners showing people how awesome the pit bull can be. But it's not going to happen if you allow your dog to breed and then they're running down Oildale Drive or whatever, just crazy. It's not going to happen with no training, with no proper education
with
for
ears
owners.
That are being cropped off with scissors.
And things like this. And when you do things like that and you see things like that, you think about the owner a certain way. My dogs are a representation of me, just like your children are a representation of you. And you don't want people to look at you and say, well, what's this? This person isn't any good at all. They have a dog that's aggressively lunging at me with cropped ears, just dangerous on a chain with a lock around its neck. What does that say?
Right.
It doesn't say, come pet me. It doesn't say, I'm friendly.
Right.
And if we're going to change the way that people talk about pit bulls and we're going to change this conversation, we need to change the way that we present our dogs.
Right.
We need to make it uncool. We need to make it not okay, uncool to behave this way and to act this way.
Yeah. Dr. Willis, let's talk about, let's wrap this up with, you have a program that you are going out, you have a mobile unit, right, that you go out in the community, I would imagine, to different areas in town, or how does that work?
Yeah, we have a kind of a modified toy hauler that's been turned into a surgical suite that we're able to go to different places and set up and do spays and neuters on the spot. And currently we're working with Marley's Mutts, this organization, to spay and neuter animals in various places in the Bakersfield area. particularly the areas where a lot of the pit bulls are running around the street.
Okay, well here we are. And, you know, I looked at these dogs when I came in. Of course, cute. Look at this dog, dude.
This is how you get masculine right here.
Seriously.
I don't need a pit bull with testicles.
Right.
I need a chihuahua.
I mean, like, what's going to gravitate girls more, right? This dog?
Yeah, look at you.
Come on now.
Come on.
Depends on the girl.
Yeah, depends on the girl. So, you know, we talked about, you know, Chihuahuas have a problem too, right? As far as like on the loose. And,
Correct.
Is that wrong? And then we're close, right?
Yeah, that's very just about the same as pit bulls. Only they're smaller, probably more difficult to catch in many cases, and
Do they get out and breed in the community? I mean, is that going? I mean, they rampantly walk.
they're all over the place.
Wow. And there's actually, you know, this is one
I think
thing.
it's like 75% of the dogs in Kern County shelters are combined Chihuahua and pit bull or Chihuahuas.
Wow. You know, one thing that I thought was, it's not interesting, it's sad actually, is that we're actually shipping dogs out of here, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're sending them out to other areas that don't have dog problems like we got, right? Because I would imagine there's some places where there's probably not very many dogs at a shelter because they're more responsible, but we have so many that we have to send them out.
Yeah, we have Chihuahuas are actually quite desirable on the East Coast because they don't have a lot of Chihuahuas. So Connecticut, New York, New Jersey.
Yeah.
So we're actually shipping 150 Chihuahuas and small dogs to the East Coast on December 5th.
Wow. You know, I didn't realize this, that your mobile unit is actually the only one in here in Kern County, right? So, do you know
Tell you
that?
the truth, I don't know. It's one of the only ones. I haven't checked around, but we do.
Until someone steps up and says they have one,
Yeah.
right? Then we'll say it is.
It's the only mobile spay and neuter. I've checked.
Yeah.
It's the only mobile spay and neuter clinic in Kern County. The
Yeah,
only
Jackie
one.
probably would have hunted another one down.
I would have had both of them lined up together, making the spay and neuter centipede
Right.
if we could have. But yeah, no, Dr. Willis is doing a great service for the community by providing mobile spay and neuter and going to areas that are underserviced. We've been doing a lot of pit bulls and chihuahuas.
Yeah.
Over
We certainly
500
have.
dogs.
Yeah.
We've been doing a lot of pit bulls and chihuahuas and
German
different types of dogs, and it's been both challenging and rewarding. So
We have a fundamental problem in Kern County. A fundamental pet overpopulation problem, and a fundamental problem where we like to. Yeah, I'll get back to it later, but I want to touch on it. I want to.
Well, you know what? You're going to write this issue, right? Coming up, you got Zach has his own spot with Dr. Willis in there. They kind of share up some stuff and work on
I
things.
don't want to go off on another tangent.
I know, it's all right. You know, they're interesting though. But Zach, you guys are going to have your own page. I can't wait to see what you guys are going to come up with. I'm sure it's going to be good. And of course, if you have any questions, I'm sure Dr. Willis would love to answer them for you, right? I mean, I'm sure that you can always call here and talk to you about it.
absolutely.
Yeah, I love it. I want to thank all you guys for doing this, and yeah, very cool.
Thank you.
Awesome.
buddy.
This is Billy. This is Baker Show.
Be tough, baby.
Don't breed your dog.